So this morning we're dealing with conflict resolution in the first general session, and it's definitely a very great topic. Conflict is inevitable in any relationship, not just a marital relationship. Wherever there are two or more people involved in any activity or any form of interaction, somewhere along the line. But we first of all want to establish that conflict of opinion, doesn't have to lead to, what we can call a quarrel, because there's a slight difference in both. Some people think, if you marry, you must be quarreling. We don't believe that at all. But we do believe that it's normal that we have difference in opinion. That is normal. But if you come with the mindset that, we must quarrel, hope you know there are even people that if they're not quarreling, they're not even happy. Because they've come with that mindset that we must be exalting ourselves, our mother, our father. We must be. If we're not keeping balance, I don't know this is not necessarily so. It doesn't have to be so. But of course, you would have difference in opinion in things. That's normal. You don't have to be married to do that. You will have difference in opinion on everything. Now, since conflict is a bit normal, remember, I'm not talking about quarreling, I'm not talking about insulting, that is not normal. But since conflict of opinion, conflict in preferences is normal, we need to also understand that if left unattended or unaddressed, it can become a problem. In fact, it often becomes a problem because some people do not realize that constant conflict can have a damaging effect on the relationship. So follow this. Constant, unattended, unresolved conflict can have a damaging, sometimes permanent impact on the relationship. So some people today are dealing with long-term resentment because there are issues that have not been dealt with. We normally jokingly say that we have a perfect marriage. We say it to get people's attention first. Because people say, hey! It shows how negative most people's minds are. We say we have a perfect marriage. And we say a perfect marriage is not a marriage that doesn't have issues to resolve. That's not, people have, your definitions are important. When you say a perfect car, does it go for servicing or not? You see, perfect car doesn't mean you won't change parts. That you use this wiper you bought when you bought the car 10 years, you change it. You change oil. And somebody get what I'm saying? So a perfect marriage is not a marriage without issues. It's a perfect where the issues are resolved properly and promptly. In fact, let me say it this way. Promptly and properly. Did you get that? A perfect marriage is not a marriage that there are no issues. It's a marriage where the issues are resolved promptly and what? Properly. So the difference between the marriage you call perfect and the one that's imperfect is how they are resolving the conflict. How and when. There could be conflict that you resolve 20 years from now. I hope you do know. There are couples that is 20 years later, they now understood or gained the right perspective about an issue they had 20 years before. That's good that you resolved it, but it wasn't promptly resolved. Somebody carried resentment, pain for a long time. Is somebody getting what I'm saying? Another big mistake is to think that if you avoid the conflict or avoid the issue, it will go away. It usually does not. I did a tweet recently and I said, somebody said time heals all wounds. I said, who came up with that rubbish? Because it was so popular at the time. I said, who came up with that rubbish? Time doesn't heal anything. Time can only be useful if proper treatment heals all wounds. Not time. If a car hits you, just lie down here till 4 o'clock, you'll be okay. No, you're not going to be okay. You will get worse. Is somebody catching what I'm saying? You will likely get what? Worse. Time is only useful if proper treatment is already applied, and time can help. Is somebody getting what I'm saying? So we've handled couples where there was breaking of trust, sometimes full-blown infidelity, sometimes financial betrayal, and they both just left it unattended. They just hug each other, tell each other sorry. Those days, people didn't understand the job of counselors and therapists. If a couple has an issue, just say, hold yourself, pray. God has, go. So they carry resentment 10 years. It's still showing up in their communication and relationship because it was never addressed. Is somebody getting what I'm saying? So conflict is a bit normal, but it must be addressed promptly and what? Properly. Did you get that?